Right, we'll open the meeting. Cutting and Strategy Committee meeting. Welcome to Wanaka. Just note we are recording the public part of this meeting. Just the apologies. We don't have any apologies. Any declarations of conflict of interest based on what's on the agenda? No conflicts of interest. No public forum. No matters lying on the table. Confirmation of the agenda. Not a big agenda, but I don't see any issues with it. You know. Okay, move that the agenda be confirmed without amendment. I'll move that. Kevin seconded. All in favour? Okay. Confirmation of public meeting minutes meeting. The resolution of public minutes of the 4th of February planning and strategy meeting be confirmed as true and correct records. Before we do that, I just wanted to, I should have sent this through to you, Sophie. I just noted under the confirmation of the agenda in those minutes, we've written progress to 3, then return to 1 to allow for the late arrival. It's got Councillor Smith. It actually should be, was to do with the late arrival of the staff member.
Okay.
So
was that the meeting I was held up?
You were late,
Yeah.
but that wasn't the reason we did the adjustment. It was because we didn't have someone to present the item. Okay.
I've got a question as well.
Okay, that's good. I got him. I was trying to get in before you again.
Well, it actually goes back to the correction of the previous minutes.
Oh dear.
So I just want to make sure it's properly set out. So, well, first of all, those minutes, it calls up December 2025, so it should be before, but the actual minutes itself, for the public part of it, the correction there was that there was a second part of the resolution that we hadn't noted. So that's actually gone into the public excluded minutes correction of this agenda. So the first sentence of the public excluded correction minutes needs to come back into the public part of it. So it's actually for item 1, resolution 2, to be noted. I think I should have sent you this earlier. I'm sorry that I haven't. I can send it
So
to you after.
you're talking about after public confirmation.
So where it says on page 7 of today's agenda,
Yes.
where it says the minutes were confirmed without alteration, we did actually have an alteration to it.
Oh, we put that alteration in the public excluded rather than.
Rather than the right spot. Okay,
Okay, so we'll transfer that. The amendment will be to fix the that I mentioned about the staff. That's in the same section, and the resolution to move the second part that as written in the public excluded minutes into here. We're okay with that. The wording in the public excluded minutes was okay.
It's the first sentence of the wording in the public excluded minutes comes back into this part of the minutes.
Okay, it sounds a bit messy, but you got that too?
I'll figure it out.
Right.
Yeah, and I've got a correction for the public excluded part as well, just to tidy that up. But we'll
Okay.
deal with that.
So any other on the public minutes? Anybody else? Okay. So I move that the public minutes of the 4th of February 25 planning strategy meeting as amended be confirmed as a true and correct record. Okay. So we'll second that?
Yeah.
Matt seconded. All in favour? Right. Okay, item 1, proposed district plan updates and other key updates. We welcome not Alison, Alison's away. Amy, welcome.
Thank you. So
Over to you. And then we've got the agendas in front of us, been read. But
thank you. So we're on page 13 of the agenda.
yes, we are.
So Alison's asked me to sit in for her today. She's away in Dunedin on the RPS mediation. I'm happy to take the report as read. There are 2 recommendations to note the contents and note the updates and the timing and progress in the projects. I'm happy to take any questions.
Okay, is there anything in there though, before we take questions that you want to highlight or anything significant? So I see the changes are noted in bold, and not a lot, but
Yeah.
is there anything you want to highlight?
The key changes since the last meeting that we've had in terms of the urban intensification variation, we've now had the hearings panel issue the timetabling of the hearing. Okay. So that's at page 21 of the agenda, over to 22. which has a breakdown of those key steps in terms of the lead up to the hearing through evidence exchange, and also the dates for the hearing. So the hearings administrator is contacting submitters at the moment to see if they still wish to be heard and timetabling if they're with the submitters to appear at the hearing.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
With regards to, and I know that you're not the scheduler of this, but I had a question come to me, and it was from an Arrowtown resident, but they wanted to do their submission in Queenstown, but I think they were told they weren't able to. But
So
how does that work? And
yeah, they definitely can.
Okay.
Come along to the Queenstown date,
yeah,
to the Queenstown week. So the first week is going to be in Arrowtown. The
Yeah.
second week will be in Queenstown.
Yeah.
Then there's a little gap because of the commissioner's availability
Yeah.
constraints. And then the final week will be in Wanaka.
okay, so they don't, just because you live in Arrowtown, you don't have to go to the Arrowtown week.
You can go to Queenstown or you can come to Wanaka. They
Okay,
can come to Wanaka. as
all right,
well.
I will just pass that back on to them.
Yeah, they can usually attend remotely too if they have to.
If they have
They
to.
can make arrangements.
Okay, all right, I'll go back to them because they seemed like they couldn't do that, and I did think that was odd because I didn't think it was based on you.
Yeah,
So-
that's fine. And feel free to pass on their contact details
Okay.
to us as well. And,
Yeah.
and the site administrator can get in touch and just clarify that.
Okay,
But certainly they can, and as Councillor Smith said, by pre-arrangement, they can, through the hearings panel, through the chair,
yeah,
they can make arrangements to do it over the phone, but it needs to be pre-arranged in advance.
that's
It's the
advanced,
usual-
yes, yeah, that makes total sense.
And through the chair, if you could just let us know who they spoke to if they did get that advice, because
Okay.
we just want to make sure.
Sure that yeah, I did. It
Inconsistent.
was a little odd, but anyway, it was kind of through someone, so I will.
A little bit over backwards.
Yeah, I will dig a little bit deeper.
Okay, anything else on the, on that? Yeah, Gavin?
On page 24, talks about the Waihi Tāpuna layers and the actually says work means as resources allow. That look like.
Look like, yeah, sure. So just in terms of the context, so the Waihi Tupuna layers currently apply to the land in the proposed district plan. They don't apply to the land that's currently governed by the operative district plan. So as we review that operative district plan land and bring it into the proposed district plan, that land will also be, if there are Waihi Tupuna layers, then we'll do a plan change to put them, to seek to put them on that land as well. In terms of as resources allow, it's in terms of how the work will be allocated within our team. And we do have a resource within our team, who's not going to be working on that project.
So we'll just progress with other work.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, yes. So it will be part of the timing of it will be timed with the special zones review, and as that work program comes together in terms of the timing, we'll give subsequent updates.
Does it impact on the, making any of the plan operative, or can it be done separately?
No, it's done separately. So it's the review of the unreviewed land. So in terms of making plan operative, that process applies to the land that's already being governed by the PDP. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So that does relates in many cases to special zones, doesn't it? So
That's right.
an example of that is special. Maybe just provide the committee with an example where there's a special zone that didn't have Waihi Tupuna applied, which now will through the special zone.
Yes, so Kingston Village Special Zone would be an example of that. There's also the Waihi Tupuna is also on some land through the Codrona Valley, and so that will intersect with some small parts of the Mount Codrona station. That land's being reviewed through the special zones review.
I think from memory that those, when the Waihi Tupuna came through, those areas were all blocked out as white. So there might have been a corridor of Waihi Tupuna land along the river, for instance, but there was a white zone that entered into it, being, the special zone that just wasn't dealt with at that time.
Yes, that's great.
This is going back to the landscape schedules at page, where is it?
23.
Oh, no, it's back to the one to for the mediation. It talks about 8 days of mediation proposed. It's going to take 8 days of mediation, or is it really on the, this is on the ones that have been heard already?
Page 20.
Page 20. I'm not a great aunt. I'm just quite surprised that, that's the time expected. Is that how complicated it's going to be?
I don't have information on the degree of complexity on those appeals.
Okay.
Keeping in mind that there's multiple parties, so it'll be a series of meetings with multiple appellants
Okay.
who over a period of days. So it's not
Okay.
8 days of one meeting, it's a whole series of meetings.
Understood. Right. Yeah.
14 appeals.
Yeah,
Okay.
So
Right. Right.
and they'll have generous allocations to, because they're not sure of how long it takes, and then so there'll be lots of downtime, lots of fucking around.
Yeah. Okay. Any other, where are we on? Moving through it.
Just on that, the intent is to have those, the landscape schedules ones resolved before the second stage hearings, the landscape schedules, the RCL hearings. Well, if they can be.
Up for the,
Well, you can imagine that there's
yeah.
things that could be resolved through appeal that could affect the preambles or something of
You're
the,
talking about for the next lot of hearings.
yeah,
When you're on,
the other ones I'm
For
on,
upper-
so I'll
on
probably.
Upper Luther.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
it
right,
won't be perfect, but it will, hopefully we can resolve as much of that as we can, because it can affect it,
That's a good point. Must be quite a bit of crossover.
Yeah. particularly in the preambles and stuff, because they
Yeah.
will apply moving forward.
No, good point. I haven't got any other questions. Have anybody else got? Barry?
Just if we could wind back a wee bit, the application of the Waihi Tapuna overlays, is that an arbitrary process, or what's the basis for identifying those areas?
So it's a plan change process, so it goes through Schedule 1, the RMA, so the usual consultation process. In the proposed district plan at the moment, we have a framework for identification of the Waihi Tapuna. So it's we also have policy in there around how they are applied to urban land. Essentially, they're shown on the maps, so they're displayed on the planning maps. But the policy that there aren't significant rules that apply to them on urban zoned land. They have most application on rural zoned land. So it does need to go through a plan change process to have the mapping shown on the district plan maps. I wouldn't say that it's an arbitrary process at all. It's definitely having Waihi Tapuna mapped is it's a process that's very dear to iwi partners. Even the formulation of the maps into the PPP was quite a process in terms of iwi involvement, working with council staff in terms of coming up with the framework that we've got in the PDP at the moment. So, in answer to your question, I wouldn't say that it is an arbitrary process.
But not all councils have such an overlay.
No, not all do. Some have Waitalma mapped. There are different methods of mapping. So we may say that we're a bit ahead of the game in terms of some of the work that we've done working with this area.
From memory, there was some direction from either the court or was policy direction on the need to have them, though, wasn't there? It's not just a whim of council to go down this route.
I definitely wasn't a whim. I can't recall what
the mandate was. Yeah.
Yeah, it's yes.
Okay. Sorry, page 30, just a quick one on, I don't know if you're across it or not, the Jeremy Bell Investments one. It says informal mediation nearly complete, which should resolve this appeal. Do you have any update on that or not?
Yes, so I am involved in this appeal. So it's we've been working with the appellant to find a mediated resolution. We haven't done court assisted mediation for this one, we've essentially done it through informal mediation. That's obviously a confidential process, but that has been progressing well.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, so resolution is note the contents of this report, note the updates on timing and progress on projects undertaken by the planning policy team. So I'd like to move that. Gavin moved, second. Barry, for discussion. All in favour? Right. Gary. Resolution, I'll move that the public be excluded from the meeting. Seconder. Melissa, all in favour?